I can practice staying in my handstand without fear that I'm going to fall. I can just stay here. If I go that way, I can turn. If I go that way, I land on my feet. But in the meantime, I'm learning how to be comfortable and relaxed and think with a clear mind while I'm doing my handstand. One of the most necessary steps to learn in a handstand anything is to cartwheel out of the handstand. Learning to cartwheel out of the handstand means that you should not fear that handstand position and falling over and getting the crap knocked out of you when you do. Rolling out of a handstand is also very uncomfortable, especially if there's some sort of rock or debris on the gym floor. You roll on top of that, maybe your bald head touches it and it stabs a hole in your body. Also not great. The safest and most convenient way to get out of a handstand is what I call cartwheeling out of a handstand. It's not a real cartwheel. If you don't know how to do a cartwheel, maybe you should learn. But until then, you should be working on the handstand falling out into a cartwheel. Starts like this. We do a handstand up on the wall. We decide whether we want to step this way or this way. I prefer to step to my left. I bring my foot down next to my hands, I stand up, everything is good. At no point am I in jeopardy of hurting myself doing this, so I'm going to go ahead and continue with feeling safe. I'm going to scoot a little bit closer, and instead of standing up facing this way, I'm going to attempt to stand up facing more toward the side. Hands closer, step down, and now I'm facing more toward the side. I'm going to continue this process, but once I get to the point where I'm facing about 90 degrees to the wall, the hand that I'm turning toward, in this case my left hand, starts feeling a little uncomfortable in the wrist. And what we're going to do is we're going to move that hand in front of the other hand. This takes a little bit of practice. Here's how you would practice. You get up and you take that hand, think about shifting your weight to that side and reach forward. If you can do this, the next step is to step down facing 90 degrees or parallel with the wall from where you started. We're going to continue getting closer and closer to the wall. Keep in mind that this is just a quick version, and sometimes people find that they get freaked out at a certain point. It's good to stop there and continue to practice until you are desensitized to the feeling and know that you're going to be safe. We're moving on. I'm going to get closer and I'm going to attempt to turn more and more toward the wall. You don't have to get up how I am. I just do that out of convenience. Now I'm really a lot closer to the wall. I'm going to step off to the side and stand up with my bum facing you. So clearly I'm getting more and more turn out of this thing, but it's happening very slowly with a controlled environment because I'm utilizing the wall. Yes, I know that this is not always the case in a kick to handstand and then falling into open space, but kick to the handstand should be worked separately as it is its own skill. Keep that in mind. So now I'm going to get all the way up next to the wall, and then I'm going to turn, and then the last step with the wall is I'm going to be really close, come off the wall, and then turn. Here's the one before. I stay against the wall as close as I can get, and then I'm going to turn and step where I can face the wall. 180 degree turn is worst case scenario. If you can practice that off the wall, that's great. You're in a good position to be going off the floor in the open space. Now, I'm going to let my feet drift away from the wall before I turn. I am now off the wall and turn. It should happen slowly. Freaking out is always the wrong answer, okay? So, stay calm. Next, we do it on the floor. Like I said, just make sure that you practice kicking to a handstand on its own. In this case, I'm going to get to a split handstand, which is what I recommend for learning handstand holds. And then I'm going to pull my feet so they are side by side. They do not need to be together. From that position, I'm going to lean. And then when I know I am past the point of no return, I'm going to go ahead and turn. Now I'm leaning. Nothing I can do to save it. This is much easier, safer, and quicker onto your feet for the next rep than it is to fall over into a bridge or roll or whatever else you come up with that just happens to happen in the moment. Now I can practice staying in my handstand without fear that I'm going to fall. I can just stay here. If I go that way, I can turn. If I go that way, I land on my feet. But in the meantime, I'm learning how to be comfortable and relaxed and think with a clear mind while I'm doing my handstand. Practice your handstand into a cartwheel and you will be happy with the results that you find with your handstand hold and handstand walk.